Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And given the horror of the previous year, I think this one warrants a different kind of horror. Let's open up 1993's Leprechaun on my Peacock account. Now, this film and series spawned may not be great. I have a soft spot for it, so let's get started. The film was written and directed by Mark Jones. I was first film on a long list of TV credits before and since. Just the first film role for Jennifer Aniston, a year from a big break on Friends, playing Tori. Warwick Davis, who credits for Return of the Jedi, the Harry Potter series, and countless others, serves entire role as Leprechaun. Between the delightful, vaguely Celtic score, the title font, and Davis' performance, the film is already signaling that it's not going to be subtle. Much like this man and the opening driving home with a heavy entire bottle of Irish whiskey, his name is Daniel O'Grady, played by character actor Shay Duffin, and his wife, played by Pamela Mant, does not approve of potential business ventures. Well, it's 1993, probably one of the last decades you could do this unironically. Daniel breaks open a vase, finding a pot of gold, and giving like a giddy schoolboy as the credits continue rolling. Mrs. O'Grady then hears a shanty as she makes some tea. Levy Isaacs does flying cinematographer as Lovedown emerges from the basement, then pushes her down the stairs. Now, I know it's meant to be spooky, but finding the obvious dummy that falls down the basement one of many amusing scenes in this film. According to filmmakers themselves, the movie was filmed for just under $1 million, and it shows. Still, production designer Naomi Slodkey does a fine enough job with admittedly loose production values. As editor Christopher Roth is credited, Daniel comes back inside to find his wife dead and Lovedown demanding the gold. I gotta say, I love how hammy Davis is in the opening scene with the tea. He knows full well how Davis' screenplay is, and he's definitely making the most of it. That, and Gabe Bartolos actually did a good job with the makeup. Davis isn't the only Star Wars elements in this movie either. Future Clone Wars composer Kevin Kiner did the music here. It's really not bad at all. Anyway, Daniel tries to shoot Lovedown, but unfortunately his motion really must be desired. Let's get Lovedown in a little crate with a clover on top before trying to burn down the house. Don't worry. As Lovedown curses Daniel, the scene will make more and less sense later. We cut to 10 years later, music playing, and saw quite the Cranberries, and we get a proper introduction to Tori Drive, North Dakota, with two dads farm alongside him. It's a Ramona situation. Her words comparable to an annotated version of show calls All I Want to Do. I was about to use those references, and all these ads for a degree in Jacob State Farm. Tori's father J.D., played by John Sandiford, tries to convince her about the house without success. Still places a lot of work and recruit help from a local contractor named Nathan, by Ken Olant, as brother Alex, played by Robert High Gorman. There's also the painter Ozzie Jones, played by Mark Holton, who's born out not quite Curly Howard by way of Chris Farley. There are lots of unintentionally funny scenes in this movie, and Alex's line about the liability cover just gets me as he looks like he's finished filming a Capri Sun commercial. Back with Tori, she goes exploring the basement while searching for Nathan, while she's workshopping her role as Rachel. And the two end up unleashing Lovedown from the crate. Like slightly more episode than Rita's Space Dumpster, and these ads for Verizon and other horror movies I can stream. Anyway, Ozzy gets blue paint splattered on him, prompting a ripping from Alex and an opening to use this bit. I'm afraid I just blew myself. There's gotta be a better way to say that. Lovedown wants back all 100 of his gold coins and will do anything to get them back, even kill. Ozzy is unfortunately Lovedown's first target and defends by off Ozzy if he doesn't tell him where the gold is. Let's don't believe him because his previous flights are fancy, but to be fair, the Leprechaun that sounds like Professor Flitwick probably isn't going to be easy pitch for most people. You know what is though? Because add some to the description when you do. While Tori and Nathan work on painting the house, Ozzy and Alex try to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but all they find is an old truck that just so happens to have one of the missing coins in a bag while behind the seat. But how many more do you need to find Grunty? Especially after Ozzy accidentally swallows one. No joke. As a plot point, especially after Alex threatens to get it out by cutting open his insides. Tori and Nathan bond after painting the house, and Lovedown is hiding under Nathan's truck. slashing Toy's leg. JD thinks it's a cat, but Lovedown takes advantage of this by biting his hand. Of course, the truck won't start, which distracts him just long enough to fix it to go to the hospital. Now Lovedown speeds on a track by a fast forward. Ozzy and Alex take the coin to a coin shop, which doesn't know where it came from, but does know it's worth $500 in gold before sticking it safe. They'll agree to come back tomorrow, but as they head to the restaurant, the shop owner hears a Troy's call in his basement. Then attacks the shop owner, even though the shopkeeper is trying to sound like he's in pain. He sounds like he's laughing as hard as I am. Then collapses the shopkeeper's lungs with a pogo stick and shines his shoes. He takes the gold coin from the body, and we cut back to the famous Solga's Cafe, which really makes me want a Coca-Cola right now. Lovedown steals a new ride in a Power Wheels car, and I bet that cop is wondering if you ordered the Irish coffee by mistake, or if the chaos mods are turned on. Lovedown then clears the cop's face, and he's unsure with State Farm, or maybe the breakage will clear that up. Last commercial joke on my Pico profile, now back to my silly movie. The cop from before runs back into town. I guess from Warwick Davis and helping drive the Empire from Endor, he's chasing cops through a forest like a demented Lucky Charms commercial. He throws the baton at Lovedown, also trying to hold it like a gun, before Lovedown breaks his neck. Halfway through this movie and the sequence of film, undercover Tori and Nathan on a date. Good coffee they have here and good cherry pie. Lovedown destroys gold, finds a box of Lucky Clovers inside the farmer's pantry. Apparently, any of the extra Lucky Charms were actually kind of influenced on this film that got twisted, so generally saying no isn't too much of a stretch. Wonder how much multi-movie would offer for the Marshmallow Mateys. Lovedown then shines all the shoes in the house as he continues searching for his gold as everyone turns home to find the place a mess. Tries to go about rings again, but it's Ozzy. Hey, with something from the attic. Ozzy asks if he can kill Leprechaun, and Access asks if we can find Madam to do it. Because the bell ringing and in the kitchen this time, they think it was investigating, he's caught in a bear trap set by Lovedown. Then tries to hatch it off his leg, but Nathan nearly escapes as they all try to fight the Leprechaun. They think they have a shotgun, not quite handy with it, but Lovedown doesn't see as they go down. The phones are out and they start tending to Nathan's wounds. They start playing the next move. Nathan's truck is also dead. He also ripped up the car from earlier and he flips the truck. He's playing a game of Twisted Metal. The only option left is to try Toy's cell and shoots to call for help just as the battery gives out. I managed to get a new Pokemon Home update installed just in sleep mode. Lovedown bit off a chunk of Ozzy's ear like Tyson did Holyfield, and Ozzy ends up outing the gold inside the truck. Tori leads a fight against Lovedown, and just as well, she's the only one that just want to have a career after this, sharing an apartment with other pretty New Yorkers and all. Shotgun in hand, Tori takes the coins from the well and gives them back to Lovedown, but he's still 1 coin short. That was the part where Lovedown is skateboarding around the house. Thought Tony Hawk Magic had better visuals than this. Yeah. Tori goes to seek help from Daniel in the old folks' home. Lovedown tries to follow, but he ends up skating through the fence like he's Porky Pig. Note to self, see if I can find the wearing the grin. Tori enters the old man's room, and the cameras slant like they're in an episode of Batman. And it turns out Lovedown's beating her inside, changing her in a wheelchair. And he shoots Lovedown in fast motion, so he's going to be happy about one thing, makes it shorter. Daniel's thrown through the elevator roof, and its weakness is freshly packed 4-leaf clover. Ironic. So one thing that's harder to find than kryptonites. I gotta say, Wicket chasing Rachel from Friends is one family prompt I wasn't expecting to see, yet here we are. Lovedown tears out a cop's eye after losing one of his own. It's actually a pretty gruesome scene, all things considered. Alex starts making his own plans to kill Leprechaun, and Tori finds the clover just in time. Now we get the payoff from the earlier scene. As Lovedown disembowels Ozzy to try and get the last coin out of his stomach. It's at least 20 years early, but I wonder if that inspired the graphic, delightfully twisted Strawberry Smiggles adverts. Yet as Alex gets a clover inside with a slingshot, shouting, and I quote, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," Lovedown comes apart and falls down the well. As Ozzy takes out the last coin, it then pours gas down the well and lights a match, finishing what O'Grady started 10 years ago. Gradual and sunrise for everyone reunited safe. For now. One of my favorite methods of dealing with this quarantine is embracing the opportunity to be silly. This is a very goofy movie, but I had a lot of fun talking about it. Though arguably the straightest of the numerous follow-ups, there are indeed bits of the tongue-in-cheek direction that franchise will go down for its sequels. Though not great, it's been a staple of many St. Patrick's Day marathon sci-fi, and the fixture's so bad it's good horror films for me for ages. May look at the sequels another time, but at this film, it's best viewed in favor of Glenn Close and the preferred method of enhancement. It made back its modest budget 8 times over, and Warwick Davis doesn't have as many fans from these movies as he does from Star Wars and Harry Potter. The franchise isn't great, but it does have a cult following I'm a part of. Find ratings 2 out of 4. I wasn't expecting this to be the director I took over the previous year, yet here we are. Next time is a movie which has much production value behind it that I've been wanting to address for a long time. That's all for now. Take care.